We cannot afford indecision, half measures, or merely gradual approaches. Our goal must be a transformation.
Hello, welcome to China Mosaic. I'm Wang Xiaohui. After negotiations lasting 13 days, which included over 3,000 activities, nearly 200 countries eventually clinched a historic and legally binding deal at the Paris Climate Change Conference. More than 150 heads of state participated in the meeting, showcasing the world's determination in tackling climate change. In fact, global climate change has become a critical problem. The World Meteorological Organization said this year may be the hottest year on record. American artist Nikolai Lam depicted what will happen to the landscape of major cities in sea when the global temperature rises by 2 to 4 degrees Celsius. Warmer weather is only one of the symptoms of climate change. Only when a united resolve is mastered at the Paris talks will people in Boston not be hit by heavy snow, residents not be displaced by floods, and citizens in Beijing not be overjoyed with the sight of blue skies. As the old Chinese saying goes, no eggs can be preserved if the nest is destroyed. Leaders of all the countries present eventually focused on the common aspect of the principle of common but differentiated responsibility.
L'année que nous venons de vivre a été l'année de tous les records. Record de température, record de concentration de CO2.
中国一直是全球应对气候变化事业的积极参与者。目前已成为世界节能和利用新能源、可再生能源第一大国。
As one of America's governors has said, we are the first generation to feel the impact of climate change and the last generation that can do something about it.
To clinch a deal, the Paris Climate Summit adopted a system oriented from the bottom up rather than the top down when it came to carbon emission reduction, meaning that countries submit their own intended nationally determined contributions. More than 180 countries have submitted their INDCs. Differences are inevitable as all countries move forward. For the Paris Climate Summit, differences arose mainly in how to solve the issue of funding, how to monitor each country's emission reduction, and how to recognize the disparity between countries in different levels of development. Chinese President Xi Jinping once used the example of a car race to explain how developed countries and developing countries have different historical responsibilities for causing climate change.
President Xi's remark was quite polite. Using more direct words, we could say that developed countries burned massive amounts of fuel and coal, became rich, and the greenhouse gases they emitted caused global warming, forcing small island countries like Tuvalu to consider the relocation of its entire population because of the risks of rising sea levels. However, these same developed countries now claim that everyone has an equal responsibility to counteract climate change.
Aside from these basic differences, each country and region held its own different positions.
《国际谈判里面吵架难免，但是我经常要强调一点，就是吵而不崩，斗而不破。
Ultimate goals set at the Paris Climate Summit: a 2-degree Celsius cap on global warming, a review of INDC commitments every 5 years. Developed countries continue to take the lead in cutting carbon emissions, and increase their support of developing countries. As a result of the deal made in Paris, whether a country will be popular with others in the future will largely depend on whether its emission reduction efforts are recognized. On tackling climate change, it is fair to say that China will honor its promises and be resolute in its actions. China also proposed ambitious action plans during the Paris Climate Summit, which have won recognition from the international community. Of course, behind the exciting figures of emission reduction lies China's commitment. In the future, China may face various challenges from employment, basic demand, consumption, investment, and the development of social wealth and people's livelihood.
中国政府、中国人民是说话算数的，只要我们做出的承诺，这个确定的这些目标任务，我们都会，尽管有很多困难，我们都会完成。
The 2009 Copenhagen Climate Summit was tagged the last chance to save the planet. However, it ended up as a failure, with the participants criticizing each other and shifting responsibilities. Luckily, the Paris Climate Summit met the expectations of most countries. It was no longer a game of superpowers, but a chorus of all sides. After all, we don't have Planet B, and human beings have no other way forward but to work together and tackle this problem. Thank you for watching.